or I was about to turn 25.
Yeah.
So I'd just gotten like a raise, and I was at like, I think, yeah, I'd just gotten a raise, and I was like up to like 105K.
Nice.
Yeah, and so when I got that raise, the meeting and the performance review in which I got that raise, I was like, oh man, that's pretty cool. An hour later, I was like sitting at a cafe, and I was just drinking my coffee, and I was like, I hate this job. Like, I was like, I can't wait till like, next year when I get another raise. And that was when I realized that like the whole money thing became like, I was basically playing it like a game. It was like, okay, how high can I push the score? But regardless of how high I pushed it, I went from 92 to 105.
Yeah.
What change did it make in my life?
Yeah.
Nothing changed other than like the amount of money that was coming into my bank, which was just lying there. Like I was not very into like traveling and stuff like that. So I wasn't into like buying flashy shit. So, and it was just like, okay, cool. Like just nothing changes for me. So then it was like, okay, so what is it that's going to change something for me? And that for, I think a few months, it put me in like a tailspin. Because when you ask a question, I don't know if that happens to you, but for me, like if there's a problem or if there's a question that I care about and I can't solve it, my mind just starts like spinning its wheels. And you just like, you go into a tailspin, and like, I was just like, everything, like nothing makes sense anymore. I'm not interested in anything. Like, what am I doing, sort of thing. And that was when, I don't know how, but I somehow ended up stumbling across like life coaches. And so that was when I basically like looked up a bunch of life coaches, went and talked to them. And then I picked out this like old white lady, and I was like, yep, that's going to be my coach. Because I was like, everything that I know and everything that I've been like taught and conditioned to growing up is the thing that has led me to this point. So I don't want to, so there was actually, so at the end, I had like two coaches that was like going back and forth between. And one was like an Indian guy who was quite successful.
Right.
And the other was this like, old white lady. Yeah. And I was just like, I could go to the Indian guy, but it's like, I was like, the problem is like my conditioning. I'm pretty sure it's my conditioning. So I want to go to someone who has a completely different background, who has completely different views, and who is just from like a different sort of like planet. And I want to go talk to that person, see how they think, see what they can tell me. And that coaching, I worked with her for about a year and a half. We would meet once a month, and like that basically like changed my life. So that was a pivotal point for me.
Right, to seek a life coach
and work with her, because with her, first like there was just a lot of anxiety, because I was like, I'm 25 more or less, and I'm like, I don't know what I want to do. I've just spent like my 20 years of my life just like going through school, uni, and all that sort of thing, and now I'm at this point where I've invested all this time, and now I don't want to do that, or I don't think I want to do that. What do I want to do? I don't know the answer to that either, so I'm stuck. So the first thing with her was like, okay, first just calm down. Okay, cool. And then let's figure out like what are the things that you do enjoy, and figure them out at like a value level. So like what are your values? So for me it was things like ownership, fun, that sort of stuff. And so what that meant was I was like, okay, but none of this helps me in any way. And she was like, yeah, just calm down. What this means is that like this is the stuff that you need to find in anything that you decide to invest any further time in. Because if this is not there, you're going to end up feeling the same way in a day or a couple of days' time. And that switch, when that happened, it took, obviously, I just said, like, I worked with her for like a year and a half. And when I'm describing it, it's like a sentence and a half. So, but that took me a long time to get my head around. And it was like a bit of a process, just chipping away at things and getting to the bottom of it. But once that happened, that sort of like, and so that wasn't the end. That was like, okay, cool. Now I can begin looking for things that actually satisfy that criteria. And so that's sort of like where I went from.